Honorable Finance Minister of India presented the Union Budget 2024-25. This budget is an important document of the country. In this current year, before the election, Union Finance Minister presented the interim budget because it's on vote on account. But that budget was presented under the 4 pillars. The 4 pillars were poor, women, farmer and youth. But however, post-election, after the government got formed under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, my dear friends, this budget is presented in the 9 pillars. The 9 pillars are productivity and agriculture, employment creation, 3. Inclusivity and social justice, 4. Manufacturing, 5. Urban, 6. Energy, innovation and next-gen reforms. This budget has been presented when India is a bright spot of the entire world. My dear friends, the GDP growth that is expected in the current year is about 7%. And we have a fiscal deficit which is about 4.9%. And inflation is also under control. And fiscal management is also carried out through fiscal policy and monetary policy. And India is stable today. But what we need is a growth impetus. The greatest problem of India today is employment generation and agriculture sector. Both has been taken care in the budget, my dear friends. If you see, in the first pillar, which is about agriculture, Government of India has allotted 1,52,000 crores for the agriculture. In fact, the entire budget is actually 48 lakh crores. Out of 48 lakh crore, 1,52,000 crores has been allocated for the agriculture sector. But this allocation is primarily towards research and building digital public infrastructure for agriculture, building online platforms for promoting agriculture products. But what actually farmers need is 3 things. 1 is insurance, 2 is warehouse, 3 is marketability of their products. For these 3 important activity of the farmer or important ingredients of the farmer, the budget lacks the announcement. In fact, what farmers today are facing as a crisis is lack of insurance for their crop. 1,52,000 crore budget allocation for the agriculture sector. Minimum 60,000 crores to 80,000 crore should have been allocated for insurance. But whereas if you see, we are talking about AI, technology, intervention in agriculture, but less that we know that agriculture requires primarily insurance to warehouse, that is storage capacity and marketability of their products. So here is a challenge before the government, but government has failed to address this 3 important aspects of the farmers. But however, allocating 1,52,000 crores for farmers and agriculture sector is a welcome sign. If you see, the second important pillar is employment generation. Today, the greatest problem of Indian youth is that youths get educated. There are 2 types of youth. One who get educated, one who is uneducated. Uneducated go for low-skill jobs and they secure a livelihood. But the greater challenge for the government is those youths who get educated but they don't secure an employment. Either they are unemployed, educated, unemployed, educated, underemployed. These both problems are a unique problem of Indian youth today. Government wanted to address this problem through 3 important schemes. The 3 important schemes are through internship model in the industry. This was well thought out by the policymakers. This announcement is a transformation announcement which will in the days to come, in the years to come, in the near future, at least 2 crore employment will be created out of this idea that the government has presented today. Under Scheme A, that is for the PM's package for 3 schemes for employment linked incentive, there is Scheme A which clearly provides 1 month wage to new entrants in all formal sector in 3 installments up to 15,000, which is expected to benefit 2 crore 10 lakh youth in the days to come. This is for the youth to get trained in the industry. The second scheme is for job creation in manufacturing, where there is a graduate and he gets employed in the company, and he is a first time employee. First time he gets this employment, the government says that the incentive will be provided for both employee employer through EPFO registration, and accordingly both employer as well as employee is incentivized through contribution to EPF. The third important scheme wherein the government has thought through to promote the employment opportunity for the youth is support to employers, where the government says the government will reimburse EPFO contribution of employers up to 3,000 per month for 2 years for all new hires, expected to generate 50 lakh jobs. Beyond this, there's one more important scheme brought by the government for employment generation, where the government said top 500 companies has to train 1 crore youth, and government will pay 5,000 per month for 1 year per youth. So this is a greater allocation which is very transformational, because the top 500 companies should take up the training of 1 crore youth. Generally in India, in the budget allocation, education sector attracts very low budget, probably 60,000 crore or 70,000 crore. Certain times the budgeted amount is actually spent short. But whereas this time, the total budget allocation out of 48 lakh crores, 1 lakh 25,000 crore is allocated for youth empowerment, employment creation and job creation. We all know that each and every scheme of the government goes to every person in the country. There is no differentiation between any class of people. But this social justice model has been indicated in the budget, and there are allocation specifically provided for scheduled tribes, women's and even craftsmen and skilled workforce through the social justice model. As this government is working on the model of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Because of that, that is together for all, development for all. Development for all, together for all. This is the mantra of the government. So accordingly, the social justice is in action in most of the schemes of the government. The fourth important sector that is focused in the budget is manufacturing. There are many incentives that are provided, but very important point to be noted, concessional rate of tax for new manufacturing companies ends in the current year. It was not extended for further years. So definitely this is the point to be noted. For developing the manufacturing sector, the government has thought through a very innovative scheme, wherein they said that there will be a credit guarantee that will be provided for the MSME for the credit access provided by the government. The second important thing that need to be looked into this scheme for promoting manufacturing is that the Mudra scheme, which is collateral free loan that the government is providing under the sub schemes, that is Sishu, Kishore and Tarun. Government has doubled the limit for Tarun. The condition is, if somebody has availed the Mudra scheme earlier and they repaid the loan on time, they should come under the category of Tarun. The loan amount has been doubled so that they are eligible for 20 lakhs. So that means entrepreneurs who already availed the loan in Mudra scheme for 10 lakhs and who paid on time, for them the limit is doubled now to 20 lakhs. Most of the business with 20 lakhs as a seed capital, that too without any collateral, is definitely a good money to invest or to obtain as a loan and pay less interest and start up any business. Beyond this, there are 12 industrial corridors which is expected to be developed, not just in already existing industrial corridor, but fresh industrial corridors in Bihar and also in Andhra Pradesh. As we all see, there are many attractive announcements as part of the budget, but the question here is, how is it going to be implemented? From when it will be implemented? And yet another important allocation is the allocation for infrastructure. Roughly about 11 lakh crores has been allocated out of 48 lakh crore for the development of infrastructure in the company. My dear friends, employment generation and infrastructure has a connection in the country. If more allocation is provided for the infrastructure development, more employment opportunity can be created. The total 11 lakh crore allocation that the government has done for infrastructure, various infrastructure facilities in the country, is about 3.5% of GDP. That means we should understand what is the focus of the government. It is about development of infrastructure like roadways, intermodal transport and highway development. All these developments will give abundant employment opportunity for the people, especially in the rural area. So I'm sure this infrastructure allocation will have a multiplier effect in the economy in the days to come. My dear friends, the part B of the union budget is always direct tax, which is a lookout by many of the middle class people, especially salaried. If you see, government has very clearly said that people who are earning 0 to 3 lakhs, tax rate is nil. People who are earning 3 lakhs to 7 lakh, tax rate is 5%. People who are earning 7 lakh to 10 lakh, it is 10%. People who are earning 10 lakh to 12 lakhs, it is 15%. People who are earning 12 lakh to 15 lakh, it is 20%. And people who are earning 15 lakhs and above is 30%. Income tax slab got modified slightly. Earlier, the income tax slab under the new regime was 3 lakh to 6 lakh, it was 5%. But now that 1 lakh got, that is 3 lakh to 6 lakh has been taken away and it became 3 to 7 lakhs. Because of this, let's assume if somebody is earning 8 lakh or above, 8 lakh slightly above, then for him the saving would be roughly about 5,200 rupees. But if somebody is earning 15 lakh or above, then the saving would come to about 17,500 rupees. So this is the meager saving that the salary class has got because of the announcement in the budget by changing the income tax slab. We also should understand this change in the income tax slab is only in the new regime. It is not applicable to the old regime. So ideally there is no much incentive provided by the government for the middle class. However, point to be noted here is the standard deduction has increased from 50,000 to 75,000 rupees. Second, deduction for family pension for pensioners has increased from 15,000 to 25,000 rupees. So these are all the only announcement with respect to the salaried employees where the tax benefit has been provided. The government had a long pending agenda of abolishing angel tax. So that they have done. Long-term capital gain has been increased from 10% to 12.5%. Beyond this, very important point to be noted, foreign companies' tax rate has reduced from 40% to 35%. This requires your attention, my dear friends. My dear friends, European Union has taken up a step with respect to carbon border adjustment tax, that is CBAT. It is going to be effective from 1st January 2026, wherein the European Union is trying to ensure that any energy consuming or energy intensive products which are exported from India or any part of the world which comes to European market, CBAT will be applicable. Indirectly, European Union is trying to discourage products from other parts of the world, and this is going to affect India. So what India is trying to do now is to ensure that India becomes favorable with respect to tax rate for the foreign companies, so that the foreign companies can come here, establish their presence in India, whether it is a European company or a UK company or a US company, so that when they operate in India, their tax rate is now only 35%. This reduction is not enough. Over a period of time, the reduction has to come at par with the domestic company, probably 25% or 20%, so that the foreign companies are incentivized to that extent their operations are streamlined in the country, and because of which their products can be sold to other countries through the bilateral treaties. This is a very important concept. Probably it's a very advanced level of discussion, but all that we have to understand in the budget is the tax rate for foreign companies has reduced from 40%, it is now reduced to 35%. This is a great incentive for the foreign company. What is missing in the budget is increase in taxation for HNIs, high net worth individuals. When many people criticize the budget, they say this budget is for Ambanis and Adanis. But the fact of the matter, the question is not about Ambani or Adani. It is about whether HNIs are taxed adequately. We see for the middle class, there are some savings what the government is trying to provide. But what is missing in the budget is announcement with respect to taxing the HNIs. In fact, many people, they are all apprehending that the government actually will bring inheritance tax for the rich people in the country. But there was no announcement at all as part of the budget. But government has no intention to tax the inheritance, because at the end of the day, if inheritance tax is brought, many of the HNIs will move out of India and secure their wealth outside India. One thing is very clear, that Union Finance Minister has said Income Tax Act will be reviewed in the 6 months down the line. We can expect in the next budget, there are many more changes in the Income Tax Act. So all that I can say, this budget is a transformational budget, trying to bring a holistic approach towards the needs of the economy. But at the same time, there are many missing points. There need to be a lot of improvement in budget allocation for education and agriculture. And they also missed addressing many of the critical aspects and critical points of education and agriculture. But all said and done, the size of the cake of the budget is only 48 lakh crore with a debt of about 12 lakh crore. And India has to manage the fiscal deficit of 4.9 and inflation. And with the monetary policy and fiscal policy, all that the government can do is to allocate the budget for all the sectors of the country. I am very sure this budget lays the foundation for Vikshit Bharat, but this continuity of allocation has to happen year on year, and the schemes brought in the current year has to be implemented effectively in the days to come. If this happens, we can see India achieving the vision of the Vikshit Bharat as visioned and dreamt by our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi. Let's hope for the same. Thank you so much.